Farming is growing, right? And we want to grow it all. But the question is, how many crops do you grow on your farm? 20, 30, 50? Here's the question that matters more. How many of those crops actually make you money? Most farmers have never sorted that list. They've never lined up every product by revenue, and look what the top 10 actually looks like. When you do it, the math, the ranking will be shocking. Today, I'm going to walk you through the exact exercise to find out what are your best crops, what are your worst. 7 simple steps, one spreadsheet in a very different farm business this upcoming season. I'm Diego, Diego. Thanks for watching Modern Grower, where we talk about building a profitable farm business, not just a farm. Let's get into it. Number 1, the problem nobody talks about. Most farms grow way too many things, not because the market demands it. Why do you think they grow it? Yes, because the farmer wants to grow it. There's a difference between what you want to grow and what actually pays. Good intentions lead to long crop lists. Long crop lists lead to scattered focus, and scattered focus is where profitability goes to die. Let's be honest, nobody gets into farming because they want to grow 4 crops. It's factory work. You get into it because you love plants and the seed catalogs look amazing and you love the experience and you just want to plant it all. But love does not pay the bills. And the Pareto principle says roughly 20% of inputs create 80% of the results. It's just the honest truth. That principle applies to almost every business and it applies to your farm. Number 2, what does your list actually look like? Here's the exercise. Take every product you sold last season, not every crop, every product. If you sell 3 types of radishes, list 3 line items. List them out, then add 1 column. The total revenue per product for the season. Hopefully you have that data to actually track and put into the spreadsheet. If not, start tracking it right now. Once you have it in, all your crops, the total revenue for the season, highlight it, sort it highest to lowest. Now count from the top. Where does 80% of your total revenue land? For most farms, it's somewhere between 8 and 12 products. That list matters. Everything below it is noise. It's always a few things that make the big difference. Cheesecake Factory, are you listening? That insanely large menu, there's probably a few things on there that most people order. The rest is just noise. Number 3, add 1 more column to your spreadsheet. Next to each product, write down how many beds you planted of that product last season. And this is where it gets interesting because some products generate strong revenue, but also are bed hogs. They use up a lot of space. Others generate modest revenue and only use a few beds. We're going to lay out for revenue per bed. That's the number that changes how you think about your farm. A product doing $4,000 on 6 beds is a very different story than a product doing $15,000 on 20 beds. Both might be keepers, but it depends. What do you keep? What do you let go? When you have this number, you can start to make decisions on data, not our feelers. Number 4, what happens when you cut something? This is the part that scares people. Dropping crops feels like dropping customers, like killing one of our babies. It feels risky. Oh, that customer always buys that. They're going to complain. They come every week for my tomatillos. But strangely, they're the only ones that want tomatillos. But the reality is it's the opposite of risky. Think about what disappears when you go from 50 products to 10. Seed orders, simpler. Succession planning, simpler. Knowing how to grow your crops that you're focused on. Simpler. Harvest days, simpler. Packaging, simpler. Training staff, simpler. Your market display, simpler. Everything is easier. You're not doing less work, you're doing less waste. And when you're not juggling 50 things, something else happens. You actually start paying attention to the crops that you keep. You learn the nuances. You go up to like God tier, expert level in those crops. Instead of being a generalist that can grow everything okay, you start to become amazing at growing a few things. You catch problems earlier. Your quality goes up. Farmer Jill Duncan, who I've talked to on the podcast, farms at 1/8 of an acre with about 32 beds. Not a lot of land. She runs what she calls an 80-20 rule. 80% of her beds go into proven core crops. 20% are experimental. Her revenue has gone up every single year on the same plot size because same land, more money, she's focused. Number 5, the simplification payoff. Michael Bell went through this exact progression. Early on, he was growing way too many crops. He didn't have the knowledge to manage that many. He didn't have the systems. So he scaled down. In winter, it's salad mix, carrots, spring onions. Summer, salad mix, cherry tomato squash. 3 to 4 crops at the core per season. That's it. He built his entire customer base, his entire business around simplicity. He calls his salad mix his bread and butter. Everything else goes on top of it. I love that framing. The base crop is not your only crop. It's your foundation. It's what you can become known for. It's what you can become an expert in. Everything else is a bonus, not a requirement. The fewer things you grow, the better you can grow them. This goes with everything in life, not just farming. The less you focus on, the better you can do by focusing on what's left. Number 6, after you cut back, you scale. Once your list is clean, there's only 3 ways to increase revenue. Sell more to customers, sell higher value product to the same customers, or sell more volume of what already works. That's it. There is no fourth option. And now the question is simple. Which one is most attackable given your land, labor, and your market? When you have 50 products, that question is impossible to answer. When you have 10, it becomes obvious. Number 7, here's your homework. Open a Google Sheet, column A, every product you sold last season. Column B, total revenue for that product last season. Column C, number of beds you planted. Column D, revenue divided by beds. Sort column B, highest to lowest. Draw a line where 80% of your total revenue sits. Everything above that line is your farm. Everything below it is a question you need to answer. Should it stay or should it go? This isn't my opinion. The revenue numbers will speak for themselves. If something's 80% of your revenue, everything else might be grown on your farm, but it's not meaningful to your farm business. So you really got to think about that 20%. You don't have to cut everything below the line tomorrow. But you need to look at it and ask, honestly, am I growing this because the market demands it? Or because I want to? Because I think I should? Because it's what I've always done? The math. Let's do the business breakdown. If you grow 50 products and your top 10 generate 80% of revenue, every product below that line is a cost. Seed cost, bed space, labor, and the time to run it, and probably the biggest stressor that's not financial. It draws your attention, your focus. You stress about it. Even if every extra product only costs you a few $100s in lost efficiency, multiply that by 30 or 40 crops, and you're losing thousands of dollars in drag on your operation. You're stressing about more stuff than you need to be. You're stressing about stuff it doesn't need to be stressed about in the first place. The move. This week, build the spreadsheet. Every product, every dollar, every bed, sort it, find your 80% line, circle the products below it, and bring a list to your next planning session. What stays and what goes? The mindset. Your crop list is not a menu for your customers. It's a portfolio. And every portfolio needs to be balanced from time to time. This is one of those things that is relatively easy. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it can dramatically improve your business. It doesn't cost any money. This is a cash flow tool, not a farming tool. If you run this exercise, I'm sure the numbers will shock you. That's the point. The farms that do this once abandon growing everything forever. They lose the fantasy. Now, lose that fantasy and go transition from a farm to a farm business. Thanks for watching. I'm Diego, Diego. This was Modern Grower. If you liked the video, leave a comment, like, subscribe. And until next time, be nice, be thankful, and do the work.